Hello, my name is Connie.
And my name is Lewis.
And together we are mates, but I am the only mindful mate today. Unfortunately, Tilly is a bit sick, so we've got a lovely guest today.
Which is me.
Yes, which is a school friend, Lewis.
Yeah.
And together, you're listening to the Elevated Terror Talks, which is our last not ever, maybe next year, but it's our last scary pod of the season for this month. So if you don't know, we've got 3 other episodes on our YouTube and Spotify, Apple, Google podcast. So this week we're going to start off with happy news, as always. I thought you was going to start singing the tune then, Lewis. I know you were a fan. Okay, so happy news this week. So did you know that fish have their own language? So under the surface there's a beautiful ocean chorus, a secret soundscape that humans rarely get to hear. It's created by everything from the magnificent blue whale song to little whoops made by the bright amber damselfish. But the noise created by boats and underwater construction is polluting the oceans and causing problems for... Again, this is not the noise. This is the damselfish.
Damsel in distress.
This is cod. Codfish. And that's it. Little fact it told me there. Do you know that cod live for 25 years if you don't eat them?
No. I didn't know that.
Neither did I. Yeah. So yeah, that was a sweet one. What do you think of that, Lewis?
I mean, I think that's quite spooky in itself, to be honest, because that sounds quite creepy.
You
like
think it's quite spooky?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to know that fish have their own language, but yet we're too busy with our lives to even think about why that matters.
Literally.
So that's quite sweet. So I thought we'd give everyone a little bit of insight of like how we know each other, just so we haven't got a video on today for the pod, so I do apologise, but I thought we'd give them a little bit of a picture of you.
Yeah, we'll paint a picture.
So let's go how we met.
So we used to go to school together, didn't we?
Yeah. So we went to school.
Till you left me.
Yeah, then I moved school. So yeah, I did leave. Yeah, and I think we had pretty much a big break, didn't we?
Yeah, we kind of lost contact for like 3 years.
Yeah, maybe. No, it was quite a lot of years, and then I heard from the grapevine that you needed a job.
Yeah, I was speaking to Kaylee, and
Kaylee, my sister.
Fair. I was like, "Oh, you got any jobs going?" She was like, "Oh, I can always check for you." And then, little did I know, I started working. So
yeah, and then when I heard that Kylie said that you needed a job, I was like, no, because it would be like amazing to think that we could actually like get the spark back. Yeah. Our friendship was just so good, wasn't it?
Yeah, and to be fair, and then like we never really.
We were literally best buds for so many years. Yeah. Like obviously even now, I mean we've grown distant. But like sadly. It's all about life.
Yeah, life got in the way.
But at that point in time, like, do you remember the day that we went to the pub after work, and we sat there and we hadn't seen each other really? We hadn't had a long conversation with each other for ages.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
like
I know
the pennies just dropped.
Yeah, I know.
And we sat outside and
we were just chatting for hours.
Yeah, just chatting. And all of a sudden, I was just like, "Have you read The Secret by Rhonda Byrne?" And
I was like, "What?"
And like law of attraction and what's the other one? Gratitude is the attitude.
Gratitude is the attitude. And I was like, "No, as if you know that."
Yeah.
Like you're the only person that I knew at that time that had actually read it and gone through it.
Didn't realise you was a little bit woke. The 3 years that we didn't see each other.
I mean, we're speaking for about an hour on just that topic.
Yeah. And then after that, amazing. we were literally joined at the hip, wasn't we?
Yeah. I mean, was always down there. The local restaurants.
Yeah.
Having dinner together.
Literally.
So
It was not long ago that I went past a memory on my phone, and it was us in one of the pubs, and we were eating, and you had to pay. So I don't think I could. I had my money on me or something like that, or maybe
exactly the one.
I don't know, maybe I just didn't have any money, and I was sat there, and it's when I had my hair like arm braids. Do you remember that? It was quite long,
like a longish bob kind of thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
And and I was sat there and I was just laughing, and you was recording me, and it came up on my memories.
I literally remember the video, like, I remember just like, you like recording and I was like, hey, look at all this food that I brought, Connie. And you was like, I'm paying you back. Yeah, that was funny.
Oh God, no,
so
that
it's been a long time, isn't it? It's been a long time we've known each other.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting, but I'm glad we definitely keep in contact. You're a long time friend now.
Yeah, that's it. Now you've got me for life.
You don't get many of them.
Yeah.
So this week we're going to be talking about, well, the plan, my initial plan was to talk about 10 abandoned psychiatric hospitals and why were they left behind.
Ooh.
I mean, considering like I'm studying mental health at the minute, like in university, I thought that'd be quite. It really triggers my interest in my mind. I thought it's quite creepy as well, because a lot of these psychiatric hospitals, they've been abandoned, and there's like paranormal tours and ghost hunters and like, all of this going on, and it's just something that I love. Like,
it is interesting to be fair and spooky.
But yeah, not being there and actually having to research it online, the stories were a bit bland.
Yeah.
I need some scary content. Like, this is our finale.
I did think number 1 was quite scary.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean...
Do you want to read number 1?
Yeah,
and then we can read
out.
some nice stories after that. Okay.
So, number 1... it was actually this one. It was actually number 2.
Okay.
So, the Zelda Fitzgerald Abandoned Sanatorium in Beacon, New York. It closed its doors in 1999, the year I was born. Was you born in 1999?
No, 98. I thought you was born in 98, like me.
No,
of course. You're like 6 months younger.
Yeah, I'm a 99 baby.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's remained untouched since closing in 2017, which is not too long ago. So the hospital's grim past has driven many to experience a haunting presence at the abandoned site. Once built for the Civil War officer General Joseph Howland in 1859 and called Tiaronda, the Gothic House was turned into the America's first privately licensed psychiatric hospital in 1915. But this is where it gets creepy. Rosemary Kennedy was sent here after a controversial lobotomy when she was just 23, left her with a mental age of a 2-year-old. That's creepy in
have you
itself.
ever seen a lobotomy? Or not literally in real life, go ahead. But have you ever seen it online or a movie?
No.
Okay, so I was watching Ratched on Netflix, if you've watched that. I think we spoke earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched little bits of it, but I mean, my friend ended up just carrying it on, and I was just like, I've lost my place.
No, it's really good. Basically, it was a treatment for like a lot of things. So, for example, if you were a lesbian back in the day, then you were like mentally ill by like psychiatric hospitals. That's what they deemed you.
I'd be gone. Check me in now.
Lesbian. Are you a lesbian?
Well,
then?
I'm not lesbian.
I'm joking.
But I swing on the other side.
Yeah, so basically it's an operation where they basically get this like screwdriver tool and drive it through your skull.
I think I saw this. Yeah.
But on the show, on Ratched, they basically did like it was like a transversal lobotomy. I'm guessing the name here. But they went through the inner eye.
Yes.
Because apparently it caused less damage. But it leaves them with a dodgy mental age.
They literally just like kind of knocked it behind the eye.
Yeah, that's it. The screwdriver was in the head, and then it was like a tapping. You could hear it go into the skull. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
But it's crazy to think that these doctors that were like special and surgeons that were specialising in this were actually like they were really well known and really sort of looked up on.
Which
because
is weird.
That's what everyone thought. They thought, that was the treatment and that's it.
Yeah. No, I'm
Years
not a fan of that one.
We might look back and think, wow, why are we drugging mentally ill? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
You never know. These drugs, you just don't know.
That's the thing, really.
Anyway, so moving on from these. So last week we spoke about, we had like real life paranormal stories that were sent in. And a few of them managed to slip from last week, so we'd already recorded and some more came in, so I thought I'd read these out. I'm not sure whether she wanted to be named, so I'm going to leave it anonymous, but you know who you are. So story 1, this is literally from their own words. So quite a few years ago, I think I was 16 when we holidayed in Prague. For a day out, my dad hired a car and we drove into Germany. We visited an area that was a small camp and surrounding buildings housed Jews and disabled. We walked around the streets and it was a warm day, but we ended up on one street that looked the same as all the other streets. But all of a sudden it felt really cold and we went for a coffee to warm up. We read a bit more information whilst I was in the cafe, and the only street that people were taken from and killed by the Nazis was that street. So that's why, like, maybe they felt really cold and like all of like they were really warm. It was a warm day, and then all of a sudden, really cold. So maybe the dead was living there. Maybe
touch the shoulder, made him shiver.
So yeah, that was quite spooky, and she can't explain it.
It's just more of a feeling, isn't it? And I think sometimes they're the weird ones where you're like,
when
what
you
the
can't
hell was
explain
that?
it.
Yeah.
You gotta trust your gut instinct, haven't you? Really?
Yeah, and think, ooh, that's spooky. Spooky AF.
Story 2, so from the same person.
Oh, okay.
The other being, this story is a bit closer to home. The other half's uncle was storing a carpet in the basement of this place. I'm not going to mention the name. So herself and Neil had gone along to help move the carpet. They went into the basement area and had a weird sense that she'd been there before, but it looked wrong. She voiced this to Neil's uncle, and he asked how I thought it should look. Pointed out where the shelves were. So this lady, she pointed up where everything should be, and and she said, "Oh, like, it's a bit. My vision is the shelves are here, but it's the wrong way round. Like, it's still a bit confusing. And they should reach the ceiling." Anyway, so the guy, Neil, went as white as a sheet and said it's exactly how the basement looked before, when the business bought it off the Spiritualist Church. So she had this vision because she had this like weird like feeling.
Yeah.
But obviously that's how it was before. So how can you explain that? How can you explain that you've had the vision of what it used to look like, but you've never been there before, but you think that you feel that you've been there before?
Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it's not about the actual Spiritualist Church, but in the actual place that she's going on about, I have actually been to that Spiritualist Church. Have I ever taken you there?
Which one is it?
Yeah, no, it's down. It's like down the hill in the town. Do you know where I mean?
Yes.
It's like it's out of the nowhere. It's not. It doesn't look like a church. It's like a box, and you walk in and it's tiny. Have you ever? I think you would know if you'd been. My mum was always going on about it. A Thursday night.
I think I know which one you mean. It looks more like a community centre. Is that right?
Yeah. It's more of a community. It's small,
next
though.
to a church.
I don't know where it's next to be honest. It's just in the high street, but down on this car park. But you wouldn't even know it's there. It's really, unless it's pointed out, you wouldn't know.
You'll have to show me one time.
Yeah, it's only a couple of quid as well to get in there.
Yeah.
Really creepy.
Because I remember you saying a few years back that you always used to go to a Spiritualist church.
Yeah, that's it.
But I thought you was meaning on the one on the hill.
No, I'd always go to that one on a Thursday night with my mum. Ever so strange though. Yeah. And then sometimes I used to have taekwondo on that day, and then when I quit taekwondo, I was actually like dead happy because I could always go there with my mum.
Yeah, that's
I've never lost anyone, but I mean, touch wood.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that were grieving and stuff, and things come back, and it comforted them.
Through. Yeah, I always find stuff like that really, really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a strange feeling and atmosphere in there.
Like, going slightly off topic, obviously my mum's got a salon.
Yeah.
And one of the clients came in before, and normally she's dead chatty and everything like that.
Yeah.
And the one day she was just really, really quiet, and I was like, you all right? And she was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'll just grab some water. And I thought, weird. Like, where's your coffee?
Yeah.
And then she ended up having her nails done, and she went.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, right, okay. And about 20 minutes after, she came running across the car park saying, I've got a man that needs to speak to your mum. And I was like, oh, I mean, tell us a message on my Facebook. And she was like, no, honestly, like, I don't voice this or anything like that. I don't let people know, but I'm actually a medium.
Right, your mum?
No,
Oh.
no, like the client. So, yeah, she was a medium, and was like, oh, okay. And she was like, yeah, and I've got a guy here that wants to speak to your mum and apologise and stuff like that. And we was like, wow, like this is really crazy. She came in, she told us some like deep home truths, do you know what I mean? To the point where one of the technicians in the salon, she literally described to her what was in her mum's casket. Like,
what?
Yeah, she literally said, she was like, in her words, she was like, oh, I've got your mum here. She said, thanks for the pack of cigarettes, but you forgot the lighter. And literally, like, the technician just burst out crying.
Shut up.
She was like so touched by it because she knew what was put in the casket, and that was just weird in itself.
They didn't put the lighter in there.
Yeah, they didn't put the lighter in there.
We all know how lighters are so valuable.
Yeah, true.
But it says the one that doesn't smoke. I'm like, what?
There's always that one lighter thief, me.
On there just like for candles and stuff.
Yeah. Literally incense sticks.
Bloody hell, so... Oh my God. You know, I have met a few like mediums, and they do say, because they can never really fully separate from it, only manage it.
Yeah.
So when they've got a really burning question or a really burning, thing that's coming through for someone, it's strong, they do sort of give that message to a person because they think it really needs to be delivered.
Well, she was saying, she was like, the thing is, if I hadn't have come back, he'd have been with me like all night. And she went like, because obviously I was so interested in it, like, oh my God, why have you never told us this before? And she was saying stuff like, oh, that will stay with you. Like sometimes she's woke up and there'll be people at the foot of her bed, like if she hasn't said something to someone, and it was really, really
what
weird.
Like sort of like nudging her and being like, you should have told them.
Yeah,
this.
like the whole way home, she was saying like this, like the guy was telling her to turn back and saying like, you need to turn back. She needs to know I'm sorry. She needs to know I'm sorry. And yeah, it was just crazy.
These are like, I mean, I'm getting fucking juju.
Yeah.
I feel quite like...
It does creep me out because, I mean, well, it's just a whole different world kind of thing, isn't it? So...
Because I've read that it's not something that you can learn. It's you're born with it. It's a gift.
She said she never asked for it. And she actually used to go to places to try and like cut herself off from it, but like she said, she literally could not cut herself off. It was always there, and it was something that, like you said, she had to manage. But
if you go back in the day now, years ago, like these psychiatric hospitals, if like you'd be burned at the stake, you would be a witch. Like that is sort of like a little bit of witchcraft, I guess.
Yeah,
because there's not many people would be believing. Yeah,
it's just crazy though, like how people are out there that literally have that gift.
It's mad, isn't it?
She always used to like the one day she was having her nails done, and she literally was like, "Get off!" like this,
what?
And like jumped and stared underneath the table, and I swear to God, I had a tear in my eye. Like this is too much now, because I always have a weird vibe about the salon. Always. Like when I was doing the balloons down there, I'm a balloon artist. Hence the balloons.
Yeah, out of context, that sounds really dodgy.
Yeah, I was just doing a few balloons. No, and I've been down there before, and like I've had my music on, and I could have sworn the other week I heard someone go, "Louise," like dead loud, and I was like, I turned my music off. And I'm just sat there in silence. And that's when you start scaring yourself, don't you?
I would have run off.
What's that creak? And I'm thinking, like, this building is so old. Like, it's dated back to, like, the 1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work. And so...
I didn't know that. I thought it would be, like, a new salon.
No. It's quite, like, it's a really old building. So, yeah. I mean, she said before, like, there's people up there, and... I'm like, I'm just going to keep that to my back of my head. I'm not going to mention that. So, yeah, there we go.
Bloody hell.
Creepy.
I'm sorry, guys. Right, the plan was, so last week we heard Lewis's lovely unplanned voice clip of the Ouija experience.
Oh, yeah.
And before I go on and talk about anyone else's stories, I need to hear this in detail.
Okay, so...
Right there. What made you pick up a Ouija board?
I know. Do you know what? It was something that I've always wanted to do, like, just for the experience. And I've been looking for some online, and it was like £20, and I thought, it's a hit and miss, do you know what I mean? It's probably going to be a waste of money. And I thought, do you know what? I will make one myself. So this is the thing. Like,
this is the board that you...
made the... I made the board myself. So I'm literally saying I got cardboard.
No.
I did like the scruffiest handwriting A, B, C to Z.
Yeah.
Obviously yes, no, and numbers as well. And we used like, do you know the Yankee Candle lids? Like the little small lids, like... that will just like pop off.
Oh, okay,
so we used one of them, and it was like we literally all put our finger
like little metal lids.
Yeah, and like I was a bit like, yeah, come on, let's do it. Like it'll be fun. Like don't nobody move it or anything like that. And obviously, when it first started moving, we was very much like, what the hell? Like, is that you? Is that you? And then was like, no. And like we were just asking it questions like, is there anybody here? And it's like, yes. And it's like, at first it starts off slow. Like it does start off slow, and then it just tends to pick up fast.
So at this point, was you like, who's moving it? Come on, tell me who's moving it.
I'm genuinely like, and this is when I'm asking questions then, because I'm thinking, if it's like nobody knows about, so Stuart, he was one of my mum's previous boyfriends. He actually passed away, and so I was asking for him to come through, kind of thing. So he's...
Oh, so you put it out there?
Yeah. Well, I was like, is there anybody there? And at first, like, I didn't ask to speak to anyone or anything. It just come through. Do you know what I mean? And this, like, bearing in mind, we literally did this, like, we went through a bit of a phase where we got a bit weird with it and was like, should we do a Ouija board tonight? I don't even know why. Like, yeah, that is so weird.
Okay, that's your version of Thursday night, and my version was Spiritualist Church. Get someone else to do the juju.
Literally. So, I mean, we tend to try it a couple of times, and we had so many weird stuff come through. Like, there was people that were saying, like, I was killed, and it was like, with what weapon? And it was like, AXE, like killed with an axe.
God.
And it's just so crazy, like all these like spirits, I guess, like are coming through. And anyway, like Stuart ended up coming through in the end, and I was like, oh, okay, basically prove it. Like I was like, if you are, like what year, what month did you die? And it literally spat out November. And so I was like, whoa, like nobody else knows that in this room. Do you know what I mean? I hadn't known Ben for long, and the other two friends that was there, like they didn't really know anything about like past life about 6 years ago or whatever. So I found that really, really weird. There was
and I feel like at that point, everybody would be being a bit selfish and thinking of who they've lost, and it would be motivated by them rather than concentrate and think about your history and like mum's history, and they wouldn't. Yeah,
that is true. They're going to be thinking like, I wonder if someone's going to come through for me.
Unless their month was of whoever passed away on their side would conflict with the month of November, and they've moved it. I don't know. It's hard.
It's literally crazy, but like the scariest one was the one that I told last week, and we did it and was like, oh, is there anybody there? And then it was like upstairs. And, like, we used to kind of torment it a little. Not torment it, but, like, we wanted to see, like, whether it was really real. And obviously that time, like, I was like, where are you? In the room. And it just started spelling out behind. And I thought, I've seen this in the horror films. This is not right. And it literally, I thought, don't spell my name. Don't spell my name. L-E. I thought, no. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now.
God.
And literally,
I can see something behind you.
Oh no! Don't start saying that. It literally scared me. Like we ended up running out of the house because obviously, because there's so many stories about it. I mean, one of my other friends, her nan came through, and she was literally spelling it all out, and was like, "What the hell? We're gonna have to do one more time, Connie."
No,
I just need to prove it.
Definitely not.
But like, obviously, when I've heard like stories in the past about like Ouija boards and stuff, you're like, is it true?
I'll just get all the lonely souls because I haven't lost anyone.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
I haven't lost a dog. Not gonna go woof woof, are they?
Woof woof. Who's this?
Wolf behind.
Wolf behind. Yeah. But yeah, like I always thought that it was one of those you don't really kind of. People say, "Oh, don't mess with them." I never really believed they were true until then. And to be fair, I mean, I had one of my friends asking last week. She was like, "Should we do one again?" And I was thinking, "Oh, I don't know."
So, as that like, have you ever thought, right, I'm going to actually buy the Ouija hand so I can actually look in that, that glass mirror thing? Have you ever thought about that?
Because no, to be fair, because they do tend to like do that in the films
you
and stuff,
pick it
don't
up
they?
and then you.
And
I don't know whether that's the film Ouija or whether that's just a thing.
I have
to
seen it in
actually look through the glass and you can see the other side. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, like it's like a pancetta, I think it's called.
I don't know.
Oh no,
pancetta's food, isn't it?
Yeah, pancetta. I think it's like a pancetta. I don't know. Do you know what?
Pancetta, is that pasta?
I don't know. Pancetta, I think is. But anyway, it's a moving thing.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my case, it was the candle lid.
So, have you had any more like scary, spooky stories that have really got you like slamming doors or things? Move?
I mean, the thing is, you can literally think yourself into a spooky story. Do you know what I mean? And think like, oh my god,
that could have
been.
That banging?
Yeah. What was that banging? Like, it does scare you. I'm trying to think now. I mean, we had some stuff at the salon, but I think that was me like joking around with Stacey because like one day Stacey ran over to like the shop next door crying, going, "There's a ghost, there's a ghost," and it was all because I put this sign on top of the door, and she thought they'd moved it and whatnot. But I mean, nothing personally myself. I know like my family had like ghost stories. Like for instance, again, like when people tell ghost stories, you always kind of, I don't know, like
you have
subconsciously
to like see it and feel
guess.
it to believe. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You like subconsciously think, "Oh, is it right?"
Yeah.
And like my nan's told me before, like the one day there was walking. This was like a story from like years ago, so I'm just like remembering what I can. And she's walked up to this rock, and there's a girl crying, like, and she's going, "Oh, you all right, love?" And they've walked round this rock, and apparently this girl's got no legs, and she's just sat there sobbing.
What?
Like, so I think they kind of realised at some point that it was a ghost.
Yeah.
Again, I don't really know how the story ends. I literally heard that little clip it kind of thing.
But then why would people make this up unless they've got nothing else better to do?
Yeah, true. Do you know what I mean?
If you're bored, you wouldn't delve into that anyway and start making stories.
And what would make you think of a girl with no legs?
What motive would be, yeah.
But she said as well before that she used to, they lived in a really old house. It was my granddad's. And she said before she's gone in, or maybe it was my dad that said it. I think he said there was, I don't know how the story goes, but basically he was in bed and do you know those like Romans with like the feathery like helmet hats?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like one of them was walking around his room.
Oh, what?
Now, that would freak me out like completely. I don't know how I'd react if I saw a ghost. I don't think I
Sometimes you won't realise it's a ghost, do you know what I mean?
Until after.
So I was watching Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.
I'm okay.
People would think I've got nothing else better to do in my life because I watch so many. But yeah, I was watching Hill House and there was like this big house, his family lives in there, and then later on in their life, kids have all grown up, they've moved out of this house, they've all got different lives. House is haunted to fuck, like that's why they've escaped. And the dad starts telling the story to, I forgot who it was, one of the kids, and they were saying, one of the kids that doesn't believe in everything that happened at Hill House starts describing it. This man, he says, "Oh, do you remember that man with the moustache and the hat that always used to be fixing that really old historic clock in the house?" He's like, yeah, he's he was there every so and so day, every week, because it's with old clocks like that, they have to have like a lot of maintenance and care, like by a specific person.
Yeah, like the grandfather clock.
Yeah, it's you can't just do it yourself. And the boy,
it's all cogs, isn't it? And stuff like in their body.
Yeah. The boy was like, he's always there. The dad was like, no, that's a thing. There was only ever one specialist, person that knew how to work on that clock, and he said, I've never ever got him in to do the work on it ever. He says that man was never there.
No,
he wasn't living. Yes, and the boy was
No.
like,
Is this in
"What?"
Hill House? Like the
Yeah,
Haunting
Haunting of Hill
I'm gonna have
House.
to watch this.
Oh, it's amazing. Like,
I've watched the
I
trailer
love it.
and it's about that little girl, isn't she? And she's like, "Would you wake me up if I woke up and I was going, Mommy, help me," and all this.
Yeah,
I haven't really watched it past the advert. I've always put on the first episode.
Yeah.
Watched about 10 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Drifted off doing something else.
Yeah.
And then just never got back
I'd
into
go
it.
for Haunting of Bly House first, because Bly House, I feel like that I like that one more, and it's actually quite sad at the end, but I don't know, look, it's got a good meaning at the same time. I feel she's done the right thing. Anyway, off topic. So we are. What time are we on?
I believe that's 9 minutes and 57 seconds.
That's definitely wrong.
Okay.
Let's go for half an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought we would go on to a few stories that were online. So it's very Ouija board focused. So it's 8 Ouija board stories that will make you throw yours in the trash immediately.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not really directing this at anyone, Lewis.
That'll be me ripping up my cardboard in a minute. See you later.
Got it somewhere.
No, I don't think
I was
I've got
going to say, don't say it's on top of the fridge, please.
No. Yeah, no,
Oh,
I think,
dear.
I mean, it's wear and tear, isn't it? It was cardboard.
Yeah, let's make another one.
Yeah. So I did make
But
another
if you've
one.
ever watched Ouija, she puts the board
Oh,
into the
and
fire
it
and it
returns,
comes
doesn't it?
back.
Yeah, I mean, we've tried it at different places. Like, we tried it in a hotel, and I thought that would be, like, really creepy. It never was. Like, there was nothing...
Well, I'll tell you, not a story, but basically, when I went to Reading, not Reading, like near Reading, in Bracknell, they've got a Broadmoor Hospital. Have you ever heard of it? Broadmoor Psychiatric Hospital. Actually, I don't know if it's called Psychiatric Hospital anymore, but basically it's for, mentally ill people and like criminals that need... It's a hospital, basically.
Yeah.
Instead of sending them, brutal killers to normal prison, if it's based on the fact that they're deemed mentally ill, then they go there. So Broadmoor Hospital, they've I think they got like a new build, so they're sort of moving the patients to that one, and the old building is actually turning into a hotel, and I'm like, oh my life, get me books in there.
That would be
love that.
Be weird.
So if you did a Ouija board in Broadmoor, the old Broadmoor Hospital,
yeah, that would be creepy.
stuff would happen.
Yeah.
Because if you think, not so much now, but back in the day, they used mentally ill, that they used to go into these psychiatric hospitals and never come out. They used to die in there, and they were treated unfairly as well. So
yeah, especially with like the lobotomies and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if that went on.
So
Well,
these souls aren't rested.
Yeah.
But
maybe that's why there's always so many like conspiracies around.
Yeah.
Like places like that.
Believe it or not, ages ago, I mean, like all these serial killers was referred and sent to the hospital. So, there's still a lot of dangerous people that were there. But yeah, like this is me just okay, imagine me, this was a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Standing on a field outside of like, so where like a prison is, like the walls are like really far away, so they can't escape, and then it's electric fenced up on the top of the walls.
Yeah.
So it's like, the whole perimeter's covered. Didn't go near the entrance. So I stood on the field just looking, like afar, and I was just on Google like researching all the killers that were in there.
No.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Honestly. I'm going off on track again. Right, okay, so I'm going to read some out.
So, this sounds like a spooky one. A mysterious death. So, my two best friends, Em and Al for this story, and I played the Ouija board at Em's house. It was going fine until Em asked the spirit how it had died, and it said murder. That's when it always gets creepy.
Yeah,
like, you're like, ooh, what's it saying?
You would know.
Yeah. She asked how it had been murdered, and it said not I. It gave its name as something older that I can no longer remember, and gave us a date in the 1800s. It started to get heavy. The whole room felt different, and the little thing on the board was ripped out of our hands and went across the room. So I think they're on about like the pancetta. We'll never know. Yeah, so it flew out of the hands and in like somewhere across the room. We stopped playing immediately after that. Oh, they should have said bye. They should have always said goodbye.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, like apparently you have to say goodbye, else they don't leave.
They
And
don't. Yeah.
yeah, that's creepy. So yeah, they stopped playing immediately after that, and Em's mom died of cancer a week later.
Yeah.
Very suddenly, nobody knew.
A mysterious death.
That is ridiculous. Right, let's carry on reading.
Like you would know if you've got cancer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's pretty much
hopefully.
out the blue. See, this
Yeah.
is why you should always say bye. Probably a coincidence, but Elle's mom was hospitalised for a serious drinking problem not long after that, and then mine had an emergency hysterectomy the same week. I have since then experienced things that I don't think I would have without this experience. Voices, a dark shadow, footsteps. I wonder if I'm haunted sometimes still, and it's been 9 years. Bloody hell, 9 years.
I know.
That's the thing. Maybe that's why I'm so out of look at the minute. There's me
Yeah,
like,
you phoned me up earlier and you were like, oh, I just feel a bit weird this month.
yeah, maybe that's it. It's October, it's spooky month.
Yeah, Lewis now knows that there was 2 full moons this month. Well, another one's coming on Halloween. So if anyone's feeling a bit lethargic,
groggy,
yeah, a bit shitty, a bit like
down in the
confused
dumps.
or emotional, and say emotional, if you feel like you want to cry all the time
yeah,
and everyone else is like tense and like their emotions are a bit hard,
drops a hanger and you're like,
yeah. Just let it go, like the trees are letting
Yeah.
the leaves. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, that's true.
So we
Yeah.
should take a leaf.
Don't I'll be crying at the end of the podcast.
Right. So our good friend Roger.
Roger.
Rod. I was over at a friend's house back in the early 90s. I believe I was in 9th grade at the time. There were 4 of us, myself and 3 other girls. They kept asking me if I wanted to play with the Ouija board because they'd been talking to some dude on it named Roger. I was totally sceptical at first. I wasn't buying it. I totally thought they were moving the Planchester.
There you go.
You were right.
Yeah,
Well,
I said planchetta.
but planchette. Maybe
Planchette.
it is planchetta.
I think it's like planchette. Planchette.
Maybe the E's like planchetta. No. So if you haven't learnt anything in this podcast, well, you've learnt one thing.
Yeah.
Planchetta is the Ouija hand.
Yeah, that's true. I see. I knew I had that right. Me, king of Ouija boards.
You've done your research.
Made one makeshift one.
Totally thought they were moving the planchetta until I asked the board a question that only I knew. This is the deal breaker.
Yeah.
We had just got our grades from school back that day and I asked it what I got in science. I remember this clearly and I know my friends did not know the answer. The board spelled out my grade. Of course, that piqued my interest, so I started asking it more questions.
You do get roped into it, like just asking like
To
so
try
many
and,
questions.
Like, believe it.
Yeah, like you're thinking, well, tell me that if you're real. Do you know what I mean?
I can't really recall the details of that night, other than the board kept calling one of my friends a bitch. It hated her.
Oh my god.
It liked me. His name was Roger and he was stabbed to death. At one point, I was the only one controlling the board and asking questions. It worked.
Because normally it doesn't work when you're on your own.
Really?
You apparently, well, I don't know whether... Well, they always say don't play a Ouija board on your own. But I think we might have or something like that. And, it never moved, you know what I mean? So I was like, it must be 2 players plus. I don't understand why they call it a game, though.
The paranormal need, at least...
2 to 4 players.
Mindful mate.
Age 7 plus. God.
Right, where was I? At one point I was the only one controlling the board and asking questions. The freakiest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm not super spiritual and I've never seen anything else paranormal related and feel that I'm a very rational person. All I know is something supernatural was controlling that board without a doubt.
Ooh.
Oh, damn.
See, yeah, they are scary.
Okay. Do you want to go for this one?
Yeah, can do. So, this one is the case of the vanishing board. Ooh. So, we're starting off. So, we were hanging out in a friend's dorm room and busted out the Ouija board. There were a few of us who had used them before and a few hadn't that were quite sceptical. It was about 11 p.m. and the communication with the board was going quite well. Gary, one of the skeptics, kept calling bullshit to the whole thing. We convinced him to sit on the floor with us and give it a shot. His first question: is this for real or just a bunch of bullshit? The planchette zipped to no. Fine, he says. Still not believing it. Prove it. So no sooner he finished that statement, the lights in the room flickered and the building's fire alarm went off. Now, that is weird. Do you know what? That was something that we used to do as well. We was like, prove it. And we had candles all around. Like, we really used to go to town.
You even had candles?
We literally used to light candles the one time. Like, we had them all going up the stairs and everything.
No.
Like, it makes me sound weird like a person, doesn't it? Like, I don't know. I don't do this anymore. I think it was a group of friends I was hanging around with. They were quite dark. So, yeah. So yeah, we had the candles, but yeah, and they did start to flicker. Like, so it is weird. But then I don't know. You think, oh,
is that wind or a draft?
It might be a draft. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, the building's fire alarm went off. That's freaky in itself. This freaked us all out, and we left the room to follow the fire alarm procedures. Like anyone ever does that. They go and have a chat on the car park.
Where's the fire safety point? Okay. Where's my Harveys?
Come on, how many of you are there? So this freaked us all out, and we left the room to follow the fire alarm procedures. After about 20 minutes, campus safety said it was a false alarm and let us all go back to our dorms. When we arrived back to our friend's room, the Ouija board had gone. No one took it with us, and the room was left locked. That is weird.
What?
That is weird.
Yeah. Unless someone's took it and thought, right, there might be a fire, let's throw it into that.
Yeah, that's so
I don't
weird.
know.
That is
it's
weird.
almost like something has warned them, took them out of the situation.
Yeah, that is true.
Maybe an ancestor came through and thought, no, I need to protect them. Maybe,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, because to be fair, he doesn't really say any names or anything in that story. No. Like, he just says, is this bullshit? Do you know what I mean? And say no. So, yeah, that is quite a weird one, really, isn't it?
Strange.
Yeah.
There's a little gif there saying, what the fuck?
Yeah, with Kanye West. I relate to you, dude. So, yeah, if you want to go for this one, it's quite festive.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit early, actually, isn't it? Oh, I'm going to skip that one because this one looks better. So the spirit in the corner of the room. Ooh. Once, right after my ex had lost his friend in an airplane accident, we took the Ouija board out to use it. She was very present. She was very scared and alone and desperate for communication. We stopped using it, and immediately I felt this presence in the corner of the room. Ooh. I closed my eyes to take a deep breath. Suddenly, the pointer started moving rapidly around and going too fast to spell out the words.
They do move fast, like they do.
Really?
Yeah, like you wouldn't think how fast, but it's like.
So how do you know? How do you keep up with what it's saying?
Well, this is the thing, because you've got to kind of like.
You're so present.
THE the.
So then the collectively you get it.
Yeah, because then you don't really know whether they're spelling the or then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it's the. I don't know, nude or something, I don't know. Yeah, there is a demon of the Ouija board, if you didn't know. It was Zozo, or he also comes through as Zuzu.
Oh.
And when you know he is present...
Sounds like a Greek god.
Yeah, I know, it is quite, like Zeus or something. Zeus. Yeah, and the one time, like, we've literally did it, and it started going into a figure of 8.
Yeah.
And that's meant to be bad, like, really bad kind of thing. Really? That's like Zozo's coming through. And again, we kind of like to torment it, and I don't even know why.
So at this point, are you all like in agreement that no one's moving it?
Like, and to be fair, we didn't really know what Zozo meant, like when it first started, and it's literally
that's infinity sign though, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
the figure of 8 on the side.
Yeah. Well, it was literally just doing it all over the board, just a figure of 8, just over and over, and it was all like with our fingers, like what the hell's going on? But when it started saying like literally, and when it said Z-O-Z-O-Z-O, and it just kept like flicking dead quick, that was really weird. Like, and then obviously we searched it, and it was like the demon of the Ouija board, and I was thinking, what? Who makes this up? Like, yeah, it is crazy. Carry on. Off topic again.
Right, okay. It was terrifying. I refused to use the Ouija board again. I immediately felt exhausted, completely and utterly drained. I lay down and had a nap. I was asleep for exactly 30 minutes. I woke up, bolted out of bed, I closed my eyes for a second to adjust myself to where I was, and I saw this spirit skeletal thing standing in the corner of the room. I suddenly rushed at my face. Rushed at my face?
Oh, it suddenly...
Oh, sorry, yeah. It suddenly rushed at my face and started screaming at me with a big, gaunt mouth.
No.
What?
No.
Okay, this relates to to Haunting the Hill House.
Is that what happens?
I opened my eyes and started screaming at my boyfriend to get it off me. I could feel it, so oppressive and aggressive, trying to get on and in me. I ran from the house, screaming and shaking. Kinky. I don't think I've ever used the Ouija board again. One day, it disappeared from my bedroom. It completely vanished. I have never found it. I have no explanations for what happened to it. Oh, I've just had a really weird tingle, like someone's got a knife to my middle finger.
Oh.
Right, okay, I'm not messing it, I promise. I promise.
That is weird. I mean...
I've never had that feeling before.
Is it off your laptop or
Maybe.
something? Like a shock or something? I mean,
it was like, like a really sharp knife? Or,
yeah.
No, like
a pin?
Yeah, like a pin. It felt like it just picked, on my middle finger.
Oh, it's getting creepy in here now.
Oh, okay, I feel scared.
Don't stop bringing demons in here. Yeah, no.
Right, let's say goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.
Right, I think we've got time for one more. So, which one are you feeling? Do you want to have a little look?
Oh, let's have a little scroll. Right. Do you know what? We're just going to go for the figure at the window. Ooh. So, this starts off with, when I was around 12 to 14, one girl brought a Ouija board to my friend's birthday party. Right, let's stop that there. That's the first thing that's wrong with this story, is the fact that they're 12 and they've got a Ouija board.
And they're bringing it to a party to celebrate.
Literally, who's this girl's parents? She needs her talking to. So I was pretty sceptical, but also really curious about it, as I had never used one before. We took turns asking questions, and I just figured someone else was moving the planchette. The other girls were pretty creeped out, but I wasn't until it answered a question for me that nobody else knows the answer to. It always starts with that, like nobody knows the answer to. To this day, I can't explain how that answer appeared or any of the other paranormal experiences that happened after that we put the board away. I truly believe that we contacted something and it stuck around. There were generally a lot of small things like footsteps above us when we were on the top floor. The door kept swinging open on its own, and the girl who lived there said it never did that on its own before then. Weird. The creepiest part was that a bunch of us randomly woke up around 4 or 5 in the morning, and a few girls saw a black figure walking down on the street outside the window. That's someone in a hoodie, hun.
Yeah.
No. But we'll carry on. Yeah, so apparently one of the girls had seen what they thought was the same figure with his face at the window earlier in the night. Weird.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Apparently one of the girls had seen what they thought was the same figure with his face at the window. But it does say on the second story there. So what does that mean? Is it like on the second story on here?
I don't know.
Let's have a look. See if there's... No, I don't think it was.
No?
But yeah, still, that's weird.
Okay, but this person most likely would have, I don't know, posted to this website.
Yeah.
When they're a lot older of age. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't
true.
think you're not going to think, I'm going to post my...
Let's get it on Reddit.
Paranormal... Yeah, like, you're not going to do that, are you? Being 12, so...
Yeah, you'll be going on Club Penguin and typing it in the chat room.
But it's either it's stuck with this, these people, these children for so long to the adulthood.
Yeah.
Or you can go two ways with this. You could either say it impacted them so much that they remembered it to the exact point, or they've changed and it's tweaked along the years because of your
and
mind
it's
tricks you, doesn't it?
Distorting the memory kind of thing,
Yeah.
like thinking, oh my god, did I see someone there as well? Like it's me trying to like go back on these experiences that I've had and like reading these, like the candles, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that did happen to us. Footsteps, we heard like banging upstairs, not banging as such, but like creaks, and we was like, weird.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff, but again, you kind of just miss it, don't you? So
I know.
I mean, it's probably a blessing that I'm kind of missing out on it. But there we go.
Right, so I think we're going to finish up for this podcast. It'll be Christmas soon, so
Yeah.
we've so this is our last one. So this will we hope you've enjoyed listening. Not last one ever.
I was going to say, not the last one of the year.
Just the last one of the season.
Not
so
really.
of Elevated Terror Talks.
Yeah.
We hope we've freaked you out a little more.
Yeah. I hope I haven't chatted too much rubbish about like Ouija boards and stuff. I mean, yeah, I think my advice to you would be, don't knock it till you've tried it. No. I mean, it's an experience in itself. I think people will do it, people won't. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like I
don't know whether I would.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you've just got to experience.
It's too elevated for me.
Too elevated.
It's too elevated for Elevated Table Talks. So yes, we'll love and leave you.
Yeah.
It was lovely chatting with you today, Lewis, and
thanks for having me, guys.
And thank you for filling in as well.
Yeah.
So Paulie Tilly will send our love.
Yeah, I know, and I'll send you some paracetamol or something as well, some painkillers. But yeah, get well soon, and it's been lovely to speak with you.
Yeah, we'll maybe have you as a guest next time.
Yeah, you've had me once, you won't get rid of me now.
Yeah. So yeah, give us a like, give us a subscribe on YouTube, Spotify.
Like our channel.
Unfortunately, we haven't got any video content on our YouTube, but it will be posted on there as audio, so give us a listen. So cheers.
Yeah, cheers for that.
You got a plastic bowl. Cheers.
Hello everyone, it's Tilly here. Just jumping in to say that since this episode was recorded, we got sent in 2 more paranormal, weird, spooky stories that we want to share with you guys. So I'm just going to add them in at the end of this podcast. So big shout out to Jonathan and Dan for sharing their stories, and we hope you guys enjoy and get spooked the frig out. Cheers.
So basically, you may think I'm crazy. I still do. It happened when I was a kid. I was 6. I don't know. I lived in my old house. That's what I can remember. So my mother's been dead for about 18 years now, and this one time, I was sitting up in bed, as you do as a kid. I was on my PSP or something. Like, I don't remember specifics, but I saw her. Now that sounds weird. I know, but plain as day, a blue figure just sitting on the edge of my bed, looking sad as all hell. I didn't know what to do. Like, was I awake? Was I dreaming? I didn't know. It was just like some weird sort of limbo. I just sat there and cried. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I put my head under the cover for about a minute. And I was like, this isn't real. This isn't real. And she was gone. So do I believe I saw a ghost? Yeah, I do. If not for some form of closure, but I don't know. I just believe what I saw, and what I saw was her there, on the edge of my bed, sitting looking sad. It stuck with me ever since.
Hi girls, it's me again, Jonathan. I actually thought of another paranormal experience that I thought I'd share with you, and it is quite weird and spooky. But this happened while I was at uni with a few of my friends. My friend decided to organise a party, and there were about 6 of us, I believe. And he lived in an old Victorian type house. It had 3 floors. And we spent the majority of the night on the first floor in the kitchen. We ordered Chinese, we had drinks, and we had, like card games, and we were just getting drunk, having a whale of a time. And the night went ahead as pretty much normal, and my friend said that, yeah, there's an old lady who stays on the middle floor. She's like the landlady. It's like, oh, okay, is she around? He says, no, she's gone away for the weekend. So of course you can all crash. However, she did used to live here before she decided to rent out rooms, and she was married, but I think her husband may have passed away. And I was like, oh God, I hope he hasn't died in this house, because that would freak me out. But she said, well, I think he might have, or he might not. But they also had young boys that used to live with them. So that's why there were so many rooms and so many beds. And I was like, oh, okay. Chit chat away. Drink. Night went on, and we thought that we'd decide to stay over. Now, this is when it started to get really weird, because we stayed up to early hours, chatting in one of the beds that was on the second floor. Now, I knew there was a third floor, and the third floor, was where the landlady stayed, and there were more bedrooms on the top floor, and but I'd never been on the third floor because there was no need to. And it was chat, went to sleep, and the what happened was in the morning. So I wake up, and I'm in a completely different room I don't recognise. And I'm looking round, and I'm like, where the hell am I? And I could hear voices downstairs saying, where's John? I can't see him anywhere. Where is he? And what really freaked me out was I was in a room I didn't recognise on the top floor, and I'd been tucked in. And you know when you're tucked in a bed and the sheet is pushed into your side? I was tucked in on the bed, and really tightly, as though, so I could barely move. I get out of bed, and I'm thinking, this doesn't make sense. I went to sleep downstairs, and I'm thinking to myself, did I sleepwalk? Did my friends play a prank on me and put me in this bed upstairs and took me in? But so I went downstairs, and I said, oh, I'm here, guys. And they were like, what the hell are you doing upstairs on the third floor? And I said, I don't know. I don't know how I got up there. I jumped in bed with you guys, and I woke up upstairs, and there was like, no, you've obviously got out of bed, and you've gone upstairs to sleep in that bed. And I was like, I mean, maybe I slept walk, but then explain how I got tucked in. I was tucked in, and they said, nah, that's where you weren't. And I says, I was tucked in. So and there was like, and it freaked everyone out. and we decided to pretty much end the conversation there, but it was just really bizarre. And this happened in 2010. We're talking 10 years ago, and it's still very vivid in my mind. Maybe I was led upstairs and I was drunk, or I just don't know, but I know that it might not have been paranormal, but it was just really bizarre. Who tucked me in? Was it the husband? But who knows? That is a mystery, and that is my second story.